and educational policy. So, what is the role of state and center for these educational provisions? Constitution of India 1950 established a governance what is that is governmental setup of federal nature involving division of powers between the union and the states. The constitution, the union parliament has exclusive power to make laws or subjects enumerated in the list 1. 1 means union list, which is called the union list. The state legislature has the exclusive power to make laws with respect to the list of the subjects given in the list 2. Both Union Parliament and state legislature have concurrent powers of making laws of the subjects enumerated in the list 3. List 3 ରେ ସେମାନେ both କାମ କରିପାରିବେ. So that is concurrent list. You can see in the page number 108. Here in 108, that is in concurrent list, they both the union and the state list can work together. So according to this division of powers under constitution, education was included in the state list entry 2 of the state list of the 7th schedule. 7th schedule সেটা আছে. However, the powers were given to the union government to deal with the educational institutions which are directly under the control of national government. Institution for scientific and technical education which were declared as the institution of national importance, financed wholly or partly by the government of India, an agency of professional and vocational training, promotion of special studies or research, that is in our article 63, 64, 65 of the union list in the 7th schedule were included in the union government list. So, ତମାନେ ये କରି ସିଲେକ୍ଟ କରିକି ପେଷ୍ଟ କରୁଛ ତ କ୍ଲାସର? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଅଜିତ,
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ତମେ ଏଇଟା ପେଷ୍ଟ କରିଦଉଛ ତ?
attendance ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
କରୁଛ?
କ'ଣ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ?
ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଆଜିର କ୍ଲାସ ସବୁର କ୍ଲାସ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡାନ୍ସ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଲେଖିକି ଇଏ କରିଛ, ପେଷ୍ଟ କରିଛ?
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ, ମୁଁ ମୋବାଇଲରେ ଜଏନ୍ ହେଇଛି ତ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଓହୋ, ମୋର ଦେଖି ଏଟାକୁ କପି କରିଦିଏ। Okay, I think it was saved later on. See, then it comes that in the articles of the Constitution, specific amendments related to education, educational policy are also made. The fundamental rights, directive principle of state policy are based on the mandate specified in the preamble, and fundamental rights given in the Constitution confirm on the citizens' equal rights and opportunities in political, economic, and social sphere, protect the interests and rights of minorities, to establish, administer educational institution, Article 2930, and empower the state to use affirmative discrimination in favor of certain historically disadvantaged sections of the society. Article which 15 which part which 3. So, these articles of the Constitution provide certain types of exclusive direction for making education. And in this Article 45, the directive principles of state policy and Constitution direct the state to endeavor to provide free compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14 years within the 10 years of the adaptation of the Constitution, while Article 46 further directs the state to promote with the special care the educational economic interest of the weaker sections of the society, in particular, and scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and to protect them from all forms of exploitation. On seeing this failure of this implementation national policies in education, education was transferred from state list to concurrent list by the 42 Amendment Act 1976. The 42 Amendment made education a shared responsibility between the union and the state government. At present in India, educational governance takes place through the collaboration efforts of the central government and the state government and local bodies, Panchayat Raj institution, PRIS, ताको short form रे कहती, in rural and municipal areas, in urban areas, while have also been associated with the school education in order to make the system responsive to local conditions and facilitate community participation. So page number 110 says about this decentralization. That coordination and cooperation between the union and state has brought about the field of education through central advisory board, and the central advisory government board has exclusive legislative power for the coordination and and determination of standards in institution of higher education or research scientific technical institution. So, the central government is responsible for major policy relating to higher education in the country. It provides grants to the UGC, establishes central universities in this country. The central government is also responsible for the declaration of educational institution as deemed to be university on the recommendation of UGC. State governments are responsible for the establishment of the state university and colleges and provide plan grants for their development and non-plan grants for their maintenance. So here the University Grants Commission is responsible for coordination, determination, maintenance standards, release of grants, and responsibility for distance higher education in this regard is ensured to Indira Gandhi National Open University through his distance council, education council, professional councils are responsible for recognition of courses, promotions to professional institution, providing grants to the undergraduate programs and various awards. The statutory professional councils include the following studies that are All India Council of Technical Education, AICTE, DEC, Distance Education, ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, BCI, like this, all you can go through the page number 111. So UGC had set up the National Assessment Accreditation Council and for the evaluating the performance of colleges, university, and the courses conducted by them. The assessment is done vice versa. Some set parameters for academic excellence. NAAC assesses the institutions on seven criteria, one of which is infrastructure, and learning resources. The benefits of aggregations are as follows. Why this aggregation is taking place? First is enabling the institution to know its strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, and through the informed review process. Identifying internal areas of planning and resource allocations. Third, which is providing funding agency with the subjective data for performance funding. Then fourth, initiating institutions into innovative and modern methods of pedagogy, providing society with reliable information on quality of education offered, promoting inter and intra-education institutional interactions. So, All India Council for Technical Education (AICTE) is its statutory authority for planning, formulation, and maintenance of standards and qualities assurance through the accreditation and funding in priority areas of monitoring and evaluation, maintaining priority certification and awards, ensuring coordinated integral development of management of technical education in country. Technical education ପାଇଁ AICTE UGC ହେଉଛି general education. So like this organization, they are looking for the coordination of work. We can see this coordination that is we can see in the page number 110 the need for decentralization. Coordination means how the power is going from union list to state list to local organ bodies. Why? This is the decentralization of educational management system on the country has been articulated in the educational policy since independence. However, it was the National Policy on Education (NPE) introduced in 1986, revised in 1992, and NPE 1986 recommended the empowering the countries for management and the educational management or educational institution at the local levels. The Central Advisory Board CABE 2 framework is formulated. Some states have been given the establishment of the quasi legal bodies such as Village Education Committee VECS, and school management committees like SMACS to oversee the government of education at the local levels, whereas several other states have yet to move towards such decentralization of management structures. All these developments have led to the need of the development of linkages, coordination, partnership, and networking and collaboration in the educational sector in India. All this described in the Mehta Commission in details. That is also in detail in 110 page. Then we go to the coordination of educational provisions. So, coordination of educational provision, we can see it is the page number that's 110 also. Education Management Information System EMIS. So large size and complex in page number 120 you can see structures across India and Indian states makes the matter policy making, planning, monitoring highly complex and complicated. In order to improve the quality and effectiveness of educational planning and management, not only variety of data are required, but they are also needed at a time and in format that conforms the requirements of the user agency operating at various geographical administrative hierarchies. Design and management of the consistent, efficient, and functional information system for such a dispersed institution network is a major challenge faced by the education sector. Thus, decentralization educational management requires very strong and efficient system of data collection and management. The benefits from improved, consistent, timely available information are enormous. Apart from providing the right kind of signals to educational administrators, they also help in sharply focusing on the scarce resources for areas activities where these are most needed. Next, we will go the National Council of Education Research and Study (NCRT). That is also information collects information. Hello, see, see, I'm showing. Any
Ajay madam. Ajay madam.
any doubt?
No madam.
Okay. Then, so NCRT that collects information on spatial variables through its All India Educational Survey once in every 5 to 8 years with habitation as its unit of data collection. Full results of the seventh survey with September 30, 2002 as its date of reference were made available in 2007. The basic purpose of collecting information on spatial variables through the All India School Survey is to provide inputs for formulating 5 years plans. However, neither the MHRD nor the NCRT disseminates full set of district specific data. Hence, in time series data on key indicators are not available. The data collected under DICE covers all these aspects. So, next is National Sample Survey Organization and Census of India, an international institution for population study, national family health, all from time to time collect information on few educational variables as a part of their regular household sample surveys. NSSO means National Sample Survey Organization that conducts special survey on education through the participation of education series. Then we look to the what are the functions of Indian Agriculture Statistical Research Institute IASRI. So here they are engaged in data collection in agriculture education, maintenance of database, and online question answer service relating to agriculture. It are different organizations କେମିତି coordination of work ହେଉଛି. So you can get the information how DISC 2001 say information that gives about the different results of education survey. So you can go and look through, but that's not so important. कौन coordination ରହୁଛି ସେଗୁଡ଼ା most important. ତାକୁ ତୁମେ ଟିକେ ରେଫର କରିବ ଆଉ next we will go to the that is page number the second unit book. The second unit book comes first unit completed, second unit comes, that is the educational management at the state level. The book describes about educational management at the state level. Planning commission was created at national level and state planning boards of the provisional level that facilitates development of national and national and state level plans. So what are the strategies for the policy formulation? So we can see what are the strategies. That is 5.3 ରେ ତମର ଦେଇଛି strategies. So first is policy is generally formulated in 3 different ways. The policy document is prepared by a group of experts constituted by the government. This document is then widely circulated and discussed at different levels. It is subsequently revised taking into account the recommendation received from various stakeholders. The final version of the document is then placed at the Parliament for National Policy and Legislative Assembly for respective state policy. After the Parliament or the Legislative Assembly approves, it becomes the national state policy. So after they are concurrent on the consent on these policies, that becomes a national state policy or national policy. So the government appoints a commission or a committee for its recommendation on some policy issues. The acceptance of the approval parliament or a legislative assembly by the government becomes the government policy. In addition, some policy issues are just announced in the house of the parliament or legislative assembly and become government policy. Certain policy are either passed by the cabinet minister or the circulated by the education department in the form of executive orders. So, India being a quasi-federal policy, comprehensive policies covering all aspects of education are formulated both at the central and the state levels. These are in the constitution, and that state responsibility until 1976 was not there. After that, it is amendment in 1976 that state has also some responsibility for the socio-economic planning of education, and constitutional amendment 1976, which includes education in the concurrent list, has far-reaching implications with regard to finance and administrative issues. Therefore, it required new sharing of responsibility between the unionist and the state. According to it, the role and responsibility of the states concerning education will remain essentially unchanged. The union government would accept a later responsibility to reinforce the national and integrated character of the education to maintain its quality and standards. It will study, monitor the educational equipments of the country, human resources for the development. It will cater to the needs of the research and advanced studies, look after the international aspects of education, also human resource development. In general, it will promote excellence at all levels of education throughout the country. This, so the Article 40 of the Constitution Act was amended also. This, according to this amended act, provided a legal framework of the Constitution and Constitution of local self-government institution 73 being the respect of rural areas of 74 pertaining to the urban areas. According to the Constitutional Amendment Act, rural areas and Panchayat Raj institutions were given the power to formulate policy for district-specific educational development. There are wide differences in educational facilities and participation and performance from one village to another village, one block to another block. Thus, in the country, policy can be enacted at the macro level or at the micro level. This is about how the strategies of the state policy made. Then process of policy formulation. What is the process? In this process, we can see that committees were set up by the central and the state government to make recommendation on some specific aspects. These were examined by the government and being found acceptable when adopted as government policy. After independence, two national policy of education were first 1968, second 1986. And the different strategies were adopted for formulating these national policies. The first major educational policy formulated in the post-independence period was made as a result of Kothari Commission Report 1964-66. This commission comprised experts who travel around the country and consulted people, commissioned expert inputs in form of research and papers and review their recommendation. Expert modeling approach was adopted. The commission also not appointed for enactment of the national policy. It was thought afterwards to consider its policy formulation. A report was very comprehensive. It informed only input for policy formulation. The recommendations were discussed and passed by the parliament and approved by the cabinet and put up in the policy known as National Policy Resolution 1968, which guided the macro level policies till the formulation of new educational policy 1986. As education was on state list in 1968, many of the recommendations of 1968 policy resolution were not implemented by a number of states. Then what is the process of formulation of second national policy was in fact unique. Throughout the policy formulation process, participatory approach was adopted. In the initial stage, a diagnostic exercise was undertaken by the government to find out the status of educational development. It identified the problems and constraints in the educational system and then presented a policy perspective. Therefore, the first step diagnostic document entitled Challenges of Education, a policy perspective was developed by the government. This document was widely circulated and discussed in various forums all over the country. The view of the education groups, states were invited and consolidated in the form of citizens' perception. The outcomes was taken into consideration while formulation of draft policy document. This draft was then discussed in the conference education ministers of states. After the incorporating the suggestion of the state government, another draft was prepared. So this is thus the National Policy of Education 1986 was come into force. We can say that after that the policy document recommended reviewing the policy after 5 years, and the policy was followed by program of action 1986, and for the time program of action POA was prepared for policy implementation. In 1990, the National Policy of Education 1986 was reviewed by the committee set up under the chairmanship of Acharya Ramamurthy. And the review report towards an enlightened human society suggested that in order to achieve equity, social justice, education policy should be closely linked with the policies and a common school system should be developed. There, in the report, was stress on the decentralization of educational management or level and educational complex recommended by the committee are seen as the instrument of bringing about decentralization. What is the review of report? The report was examined by the Minister of Human Resource Department, which brought the National Policy on Education 1986 with modification undertaken in 1992, revised program action 1992. These two documents have given guiding the policy at all levels until now. Based on the revised policy and program of action, each state was asked to prepare its own program of action on the basis of guidelines provided by MP 1992 and the specific situation of the state. The next review was due on 1996, which is also taken up, and then this 1992 formulated their own program of action, identifying the priority areas of immediate implementation. Depending on the importance of areas, some of the program schemes were funded fully or partially by the central government. Policy gave added inputs to the launching of large-scale programs of the non-formal education provided incentive to voluntary agency for running the centers. In this contest, it resolved to achieve the universalization of elementary education and eradication of illiteracy by 1995. It stressed upon active community involvement in achieving the target UE. Then bodies associated with the policy planning and policy implementation. What are the bodies involved in this? So, in the last, in higher education, we have seen in the central government scheme, we have seen then state board. What are the state board that agencies are involved? State boards of school education at present in 42 state boards. Most of the state boards have single board of senior secondary education. And due to the expansion of primary education, some states have bifurcated the school board into separate boards. These boards are generally statutory bodies. So next we'll go to the state level and its implementation, education management at state level. So कौन आंध्र प्रदेश मलयालम समीक्षा project. All these are शिक्षा economic project, Bihar education project. All these are the different types of management level bodies which are looking up the state education policies. So we can see Andhra Pradesh Primary Education Project, that is APPEP. It first major extremely funded project by APE was undertaken in cooperation with the British government. It was started in 1983 and in 330 schools selected from 11 districts of Andhra Pradesh. Then Mohila Samikhya project. This program was launched by 1987 to 1989 to translate the goals of the NPE and POA into the concrete program for the education and empowerment of the women in rural areas, particularly of women from socially and economically marginalized groups. It was initiated in 10 districts of Karnataka, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, and later on Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Uttaranchal, Bihar, Jharkhand, and Assam. Next, Shiksha Karmala Project, SKP. Shiksha Karmi project was started in 1987 in Rajasthan with financial assistance from the Swadeshi International Development Agency CSIDA to deal with the problem of teacher absenteeism in remote rural areas of Rajasthan. The concept of barefoot teachers was introduced by the SKP. This it aimed at improving the enrollment and increasing dropout rates, especially of girls. The major strategy adopted by SKP was to appoint a local teacher known as Shiksha Karmi who could effectively reach to the every child in the locality. Voluntary organizations and the encouragement of Shiksha Karmi and SKP has also constituted Village Education Committee (VECS) to promote the community involvement in the primary education and encourage village level planning. SKP also responsible for a sevenfold decrease in the enrollment of children in schools taken over the project. Then Bihar Education Project. This was launched in the state Bihar in 1991 with aid to UNICEF. It was operational in 7 districts Bihar. The objectives of the project had been reduction of illiteracy, universalization of elementary education, particularly for children of 6 to 14 years group, with special emphasis on the girls' side. The project emphasized on universal access, universal immobilization, participation in personal achievement. So, and strategies adopted were to mobilize a community for educational purposes, improving teaching learning processes in schools, establishing NFFE centers and adult education centers. BEAP had also based structures in the village education committee and Mahila Samakhya. Then Loko Jumba. So these are all these Uttar Pradesh basic project. Vocationalization of education. In the secondary education sector, vocationalization of education was started in all the states. Of the success of the same scheme, however, is limited to a few states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra. District Institute of Educational Training (DIET). These teachers training institutions were established with the aim to provide in-service training to the teachers. The scheme is being implemented invariably by all states. All these are the thrust areas of NPE 1986 under the centrally sponsored scheme. The three main functions of DIET are training teachers, primary, both induction level and in-service training, resource support, extension, guidance, development material aids, evaluation tools, and action research. Then adult education. That in adult education, the focus of the programs is on literacy and post-literacy. National Literacy Mission and the establishment of Jana Sikya Nilayam are two major schemes directed to promote adult education. These schemes are given again thrust areas of NP 1996 and the revised program of action 1992. Then state policy schemes. What are the state policy schemes? These program projects are centrally sponsored schemes and several states have been implementing innovative schemes on their own promote primary education in general, education of girls and disadvantaged sections of the society in particular. Some of these states provide residential facilities for children living in remote areas such as Choras, Vidyalayas for small hamlets in Bihar, Ahilyabai Holkar, Mulyana, Mofat Pravas Yojana for girls in Maharashtra, welfare homes for destitute girls in West Bengal, and ashram schools for children living in remote and small habitation Union Territory, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Ashram schools are also established in tribal areas of several states under a centrally sponsored scheme. Some the schemes focused on school-related factors such as providing access to children in remote areas by making school timing flexible, pre-Harap Pathashala in Rajasthan, overcoming shortage of teachers in requirement of local teachers, relaxation qualifications, Shiksha Karmis in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, and Vidya Sankara in Gujarat. Making education a joyful experience. So, Academy of Shiksha in Odisha and Ananda Path in West Bengal, while the Vidya Vikas program of Karnataka Shiksha Utsav same scheme of Maharashtra seek to improve quality at school and learning outcome. All these schemes are still ongoing because lack of monitoring evaluation. These schemes are not successful as they were implemented, even though they are contributing to the achievement of the national goals of universities elementary education overall in the country. Policy formulation and at state level. In respect to the policy formulation, a large number of states have accepted the NP 1986. They do not have their own policies. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal are four major areas and states that formulated their own policy. Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Union Territory, Lakshadweep have also their own machinery for policy formulation. Meghalaya, Sikkim, and ANU our highlands have also their own statement prior to the formulation of National Policy of Education 1986, but presently guided by NPE 1986, and that shows the efforts made by the state is formulating the policies. So, what are the different countries, their state and union territories, and name the commission and or committees? Arunachal Hoshi Kapur Committee to draw 20 years perceptive plan for education. And Gujarat Rahuchi Primary Education Commission 1984, Secondary Education Commission 1981. ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ଟିକେ ମନେ ରଖିବୁ କାଳେ କାଳେ ପକେଇ ଦେଇପାରେ ପଲ୍ କମିଟି ଫର୍ ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ କଲେଜ ଆଣ୍ଡ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ପିକେ ଲେହେରି ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆର୍ଏସ୍ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ରମୌଲି କମିଟି ଫର୍ ଦ ଭୋକେସନାଲ ଏଜୁକେସନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ତ୍ରିବେଦୀ କମିଟି ଫର୍ revision of grants 8 rules. So all these are the Punjab Education Reform Committee. Sikkim Raju Veda Prakash Committee 1975-76, Tamil Nadu Kulkandia Swami Committee, Delhi Raju Committee of Regulation and Standardization, Lakshadweep UT Level Advisory Board for Formulation of Policy and Guidance Implementation. So, a number of states have announced their own policy and in the legislature on the specific issues on basic recommendation of committee set up for the purpose of in like Karnataka, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, etc. to set up 17 committees to review their various aspects of national policy on education. On the other hand, some aspects have set up own commissions to make the policies. For example, West Bengal and Punjab. Policy implementation. What is known as policy implementation? So, policy implementation means to ensure effective implementation of education policy and programs. And three sets of requirements are required. Education universities should have three requirements. One is a proper perspective of the goals and policies for which they are working. Then second, the capabilities required for performing administrative functions for achieving the prescribed tasks. Then next is will interest and dedication on their part to perform the required administrative functions. In addition, well-known functions of planning, staffing, organizing, monitoring, controlling, including performance appraisal, inspection, supervision, and are consolidated important administrative functions for the accomplishment of prescribed goals. For implementation of the policy, states have identified their own priority areas. Some states have identified long-term goals for all these aspects. The primary areas of universal primary education, which they may have following through the SSA Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and while implementing the goals of universal elementary education, their main access in on the success access to reduce the number of out of the school children and improve quality of education and strengthen the teacher education. In addition, they also stress vocationalize of secondary education, moral education, improving science education, games, arts, sports, etc. And within the adult education program, removal of illiteracy also figures as a priority in most of the areas cases and establishment of national literacy mission, Janashikha Nilayams, and the centers of constituting education aspects of emphasis. Kerala and Karnataka are two states which give priority to 100 consent enrollment, curriculum review, and preparation the text books. In this regard, in this state, but Tripura strengthening the supervision and inspection occurs as the priority area. Gujarat has identified value education with superiority area of Maharashtra has identified sports and priority areas. Expansion library facilities also at priority areas of Delhi under Uttar Pradesh West Bengal have improved examination power. The priority in addition, Gujarat also have identified groups and which include the stereotypes and educationally deprived in minority and so on. Then we'll go to the priority areas and policy making. Assam रे कौन, बिहार रे कौन, गोवा रे कौन, जो पढ़ेको मने रखिबो टिके टिके आ ମାନେ ଏତେ ଭାଷ୍ଟକୁ ମନେ ରଖିବା କଷ୍ଟକର। ତମ ଯୋଉ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ क्वेश्चन ଆସୁଛି ତାକୁ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିକି ତାକୁ ପ୍ରିପେୟାର କର। ସବୁ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିର ଅଛି। Next we'll go to the organizational structure and policy implementation. कौन सब बुझा जाउछि तो रे पिलामाने कौन नलिनीकांत त्रिपाठी are you present? Hello. Okay. So we can go to the organizational structure and policy implementation. Here, organization is a complex concept. It is perceived differently by different individuals. Organizations are made to achieve the set vision and mission, goals and objectives. Organization helps in coordinating the activities and utilizing the resources for fulfilling various tasks and of the organization. It is realized that the functioning of the organization depends on achieving the effectively the set goals. For that, on the one hand, organizational structure is needed to help providing framework for planning, implementation, and controlling activities that take place within the organization, and also understanding the communication and coordination flow. On the other hand, organization work under framework of policy making made by the government. The policy give direction to the organization on process to move to the achieve its overall goals. It points out to the aims, objectives, targets that are used to achieve the set goals. However, the success depends upon effectively and efficiently policies are implemented by the organization. In India, after independence, the constitution had placed education on the state list, thereby giving responsibility for organization control administration to the state government. After 1976, education was put under the concurrent list, thereby giving responsibility of education to both center and the state. According to the concurrency, both the state and the center have equal status for making education. However, in practice, major burdens of administration and management of education is on the state government that are planning and financial control in the center. This These are include different objectives. First objective to describe historical background as well as state government machinery for educational administration in India. Describe the machinery educational administration in states for purpose of planning and administration. Explain the functioning of independent or Department of Education regarding their obligation with respect to education at the state level. List and describe the organizations that are supporting departments of education at the state level for the implementing policy. Analyze the role of educational structures in the implementation of policy at the different levels of education in states. Then history of education, education department. What are the history? India, since ancient times, education is given top priority. There are always various centers of learning for implementing education. During the prehistoric period, the family was main agency for imparting education. Then comes the institution, private tutors, gurukuls, and ashrams. Buddhism and Jainism brought fundamental changes in access to education with their remote, democratic and character and well-organized educational institutions came into existence with the impact of Buddhist monarchies during the medieval period. During the medieval period, different social groups supported different types of education. Remarks of all of them can be seen even today. The history of education institutions shows that during the ancient and medieval periods in India, formal government departments of education as well as officials like directors of education and inspectors of school were not there. Education was willingly supported by the society through donors and endowment and patronage to education used to be given by the kings. Learned people the courts used to get grants of pension and land. During the Mughal period, both Hindus and Muslims made efforts to spread education. Generally, grants and donations were given for promotion of education. Maktabs and madrasas were established during this period. Patronage of the education, then not to be educated, he was very keen to spread education. He recognized and encouraged the education of the people, all religion. He provided a systematic, organized structure of the education. Akbar not only increased the number of educational institutions but also concentrated on the improvement of quality in education. Aurangzeb further expanded and the educational institution during this time. Orders were issued to provisional government to look after into the education of other subjects. Soon after British East India Company became the actual ruler of the country. It had also shown concern about the education issues. Government supervision in the matter of education was also for first time introduced in 1823 with the setting up of a committee upon provision level of 1943, a nucleus of the education department first set up in 1952. Woods Education Department 1954 was first official document which outlined the company's role with regard to the provision of the schooling in British India. The response document is giving public instruction each province for promoting general and publication education in India. Consequently, post of visitors general was also replaced by the director of public affairs. And these are humanities where education is primary. Primary level into four circles in each under the charge of a circle inspector. The dispatch created an elaborate machinery of education dependent on at the province level and established guidance for the development of education at the primary and secondary and collegiate level. A new system of schooling members 1964 with government university network, affiliated colleges, and numerous primary and secondary institutions. The new public system incorporated in the new public system incorporated schools managed by provincial government and local bodies, district and municipal, as well as the privately managed schools known as the aided or non-aided schools. While aided schools are receive public subsidies or grants in aid, unaided schools do not receive receive and we don't receive the public grants, but were nonetheless classified under the public system because their students were allowed to take public examination offered by their education department in colleges. Although many of the former indigenous schools disappeared over the period. Some were successfully converted into the public aided schools, and these rest were established classified as private schools because they did not conform to standards of the education department. During 1882, Hunter Commission was appointed to and required inquire into coordination of education in India. The commission recommended that government responsible should be only up to the elementary education. Therefore, government should provide, extend, and improve only elementary education. In this regard, powers were given district boards in rural areas inside municipal areas to control primary education, non-primary education only, and boards officers are establishing primary education. It also continues to maintain some high schools and other institutions of high school education and models and exercise the, their control over non-control institutions of the inspections, examination, recognition that grants in aid at the secondary school. Hmm. Then the government also provide in 1999 in 1901 Lord Curzon converted the Conference of Indian Educationist Directors and State Instructors, which led to more involvement of government, strengthening administrative and concentration of the Post Director General of the Government and Infrastructure Education Administration of Board and provides the aspect of education institution. Thus, more or less was led the qualities improvement in 1910. The post director general was appointed police and separate department education in center. The central department education was made as coordinating agency and learning house during 1980. The Central Board of Education was established to boost education function to make the children's. Then there is the result reveals radical changes in educational administration in accordance with India were brought by the Indian Education Act 1919 and according to the Act, education was transferred and managed by the elected Education Ministry of Education various provinces under school system of dietary and days also statutory body of high schools and made admitted so was the Department of Health and Education. Next is Bhumi. Education administration at the state level. Each state and union territory has established an education department, and this department performs three main functions: regulatory, operational, and directive. Regulatory functions look after the policy planning, program formulation, and the secretarial level. Operational functions are responsible for the implementation of programs. At the director level or directive functions looks after the inspectorial and supervisory function. The district level education and administration differs from state to state. There are number of education minister, education secretary, and other officers at the secretariat level like additional secretary, special secretary, deputy secretary, assistant secretary, under secretaries. So some of the states have been numbered for education minister. The state of in West Bengal with five education ministers dealing with the various levels of types of education, while the Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, and even small states like Tripura have three education ministers and the same education secretaries and other officers also differs from state to state. In Madhya Pradesh, there are also four officers of the secretariat level within such. Administration of education depends upon the size and number of institutions. There is financial, functional relationship and coordination between the different levels of administration and types of institution through the system varies from state to state. One is first is function of education department, regulatory, operational, and directive. In short, for coordinating the educational activities at state, region, district, lower levels, states have to carry out following regulatory, operational, and directive functions. In this includes policy making in education, coordination of education at all stages, and levels, personal administration, budget formation, plan and expenditure control, grant in aid to non-governmental institution, administration of elementary education, control and supervision of secondary education, control and supervision of higher education, supervision and the administration of national cadet corps, libraries, teaching Oriental languages, scholarships, supervision and control of teaching, learning, training. These functions are discharged by the educational functionaries of the state government at the secretariat, directorate, regional, district, lower level. The responsibility is also shared by local government agency, voluntary organization operating in the states. It's also the internal administrative machinery of the various university located in the states. Let us discuss the agencies and functions of this. First is the Ministry of Education. For the purpose of planning and administration of education, each state government has a department of education. The ministry also is a member of the state legislature is the head of this department. He or she is responsible for the institution, direction, and execution of all educational policies of the state. Not only he or she is responsible for planning of education in the state, but also answerable for development, progress, retrospective steps taken in the states in the field of education. Success of any program generally depends upon the personality of the minister, secretary, and the director of education advises him or her, but the success of program depends upon perseverance and determination of the minister. Then Secretariat of Education, Ministry for Secretary. Secretary of Education is headed by Secondary Education. He or she is responsible for policy formulation, planning, programming, budgeting, education, coordinating it among different directors with other departments, work relating to appointment, promotion, transfer, senior officer. Besides the administrative power, Education Secretary enjoy full financial power such as sanctioning of various schemes, projects. All these schemes to expansion of education plan and non-plan are first approved by the Education Secretary and then submitted to the Planning and Finance Department. There are a number of other officers of the rank Joint Secretary, Deputy Secretary, Under Secretary. These officers are responsible for the implementation of educational policy in the state. Secretariat remains in the direct touch with the Ministry of Education. The divisions upon policy matters are taken at this level, then submitted for the approval of the minister. The secretariat such as link between the executive head and by the director on one hand and the minister in education on the other hand. The recommendation of director of education are scrutinized at the level at this level and are commented, transmitted to onwards to the minister. It is necessary that each matter should go to the minister. Many of the routine matters are disposed at this stage, even at the earlier stage of the directorate, but all matters should go to the minister's level. So, this hierarchy of this system works as secretary, then principal secretary, joint secretary, deputy secretary, officer, and special secretary. So, all they are working with the education funding and how it can be mobilized into different head. Next is coming the mm, director of education. Unified director of education, separate director of education, and then comes structure of education directorate level, government school education department, then comes joint director school education, joint director elementary education, all look after the education program. Then other supportive structures of the state levels. Andhra Pradesh, Assam, director of non-formal adult education. So all different heads are also there. They are looking after the non-formal and formal education. So implementation of policy at different levels, elementary education, how the elementary education is implemented. So it is the constitutional responsibility of the state government to provide universal elementary education. The effective program of elementary education ensures the progress of the education system as a whole. A primary education is a base on which rest of all the educational developments in the country. Some of the major projects within the elementary education sector are district primary education program, Bihar Education Project Program, Uttar Pradesh Project Basic Education Program. For permitting education of girls and women empowerment, Mahila Samiksha is also a major program being implemented in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Lok Jumbis in Rajasthan is another major program that aims at to promote primary education in state with the focus on girls. All these programs, projects are foreign funded and in some cases and gender centrally sponsored in the states. These have helped in the promoting primary education in the states. Besides, there are several centrally sponsored schemes that are implemented in the states to promote primary education. The Operational Backbone scheme aims at the providing minimum infrastructure to the primary schools with a view to improving the teaching learning process. It is implemented by the all states. Similarly, non-financial education scheme is in earlier implemented in the backward states, but is now also extended to the backward districts of the advanced states. Adult education. In case of adult education, the focus of program is on literacy and post-literacy, mission literacy mission, establishment of Jana Shiksha Nilayam are two major schemes directed to promote the adult education country. Then next comes the secondary education. The state government is responsible for the secondary education department exercise its control by the following way. It opens the government schools, administer them, set rules and regulations to manage the education at different levels, provides finances to government and gives grant in aid to the private aided schools, prescribes courses of studies to the elementary education, the state boards of the school education, which is a statutory board, conducts examination for the secondary, senior secondary classes. Board grants recognition to the schools in the state and formulates courses of studies and prescribe books. Then recruitment and promotion of teachers transfer is regulated by the directorate. Norms of inspection and supervision and guidelines are laid down. Setting up the educational tribunal provides professional support system like SCRT, Institute of Advanced Study in Education, ISC, and College of Teachers, CTE. So many these schemes have been implemented at the secondary education sector by the education departments. These are vocationalization of education, consolidation of facilities, strengthening of science teaching. In addition, in respect to teacher education, teacher training institutions have been strengthened by the establishment of secretariats, IASCs, cities, and in-service teacher training programs and projects are being started by all states. To support the entire school education, many innovative schemes have been started by the state government with the help of central government. We can see in the table page number 43 ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି table 6 ଆଉ 7. Then the administration of higher education. The management of higher education is under the purview of state government. However, exceptions regarding the maintenance of standards, technical, vocational education have far-reaching consequences. Hence, the central participation is very much existent in this field of education, and in a majority of the states and separate secretariat and director managers is high education. University education, all these states have state universities. They are constituted by the acts of states legislature. These acts govern their functioning. However, these universities are not governed by the state departments. These are the autonomous bodies. The state government provides grant and aid to the university. Collegiate education. At present, there are three types of colleges in the state government: aided, privately managed, and self-financed colleges. The government colleges are administered by the Director of Education, and aided and self-financed colleges are run by the private management. In any states like Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, etc., there is a special offer of the rank of director who is responsible for college education. Then teacher education and other professional basic education. There are many institutions managed by different ministries. At the state level, various departments are involved in the program of technical training at school level. In many states, there is Director of Technical Education. Its main aim is to coordinate the programs and ensure continuing contact with the manpower planning mechanism with the district level machinery. In addition, in almost all states, there is Director of Medical and Health Services, which looks after the organizer of medical education. Then we go to the center-state relation. What is the center-state relation in education? The center-state relation means the working and sharing of the roles and responsibility in pertaining to any activity between center and its unit with a federal system. It is of great importance in the country like India, constrained by the regionalism, religion, uneven development, demand of autonomy, identify politics and a competing political interest. Caste and race. The caste and relation in the country have always constrained the seeds of the conflict and which partially followed from the arrangement made in the Indian Constitution in the field of education, which is one of the major welfare activities. The common obliged obligation has called for a joint endeavor in policy making, policy implementation. This has given rise to a complex pattern of relationship between the center and its federal units. The states is this unit is we can see what are the objectives. It describes the relationship between center and states, explain the constitutional provisions regarding the division of functions and resources and other financial powers between the center and the state. Then historical perspective. The problem of understanding and defining the proper relationship between the center and the states in the India is much older than the country's independence. It figured prominently in the Government of India Act 1935, was debated Even earlier, some of the features of the present mechanism can be traced to the pre-independence period. The center-state relationship education presents a very varied picture. The period covering the last 2 centuries can be divided into two main phases: the pre-independence period and the post-independence period. Center-state relationship during these periods were different. In the earlier stages, the modern pre-India independence periods, that is the beginning of the 19th century, there was neither proper census nor proper state, neither proper center nor proper state corresponding to the center. Later on during British rule, there was neither national policy on education nor there was a national system of education, and studying the center-state relation during the period did not have any perspective in the following subsections. Efforts undertaken by the colonial rules regarding the financial relation with the provincial governments in India, like have been described, followed the discussion of development in post-independence. So, all of you are listening. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, so, any progress you have made in your assignment? କ'ଣ assignment କରିସାରିଲଣି କିଛି? ପ୍ରଜନ୍ୟ ପରମିତା assignment ହେଇଗଲାଣି କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟେଡ୍?
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ କରିବି ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଏବେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ? କ'ଣ ପାଠ ଆଉ କ'ଣ ପଢୁଛ କି ନା ୱାର୍କିଂ କରୁଛ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ, ତମେ କିଛି କାମରେ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ଅଛ କି? ପ୍ରଜନ୍ୟ ପରମିତା, ଗୀତାଞ୍ଜଳି ବେହେରା, ଆର୍ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ପ୍ରଣାମ।
ପ୍ରଣାମ ପ୍ରଣାମ। ଆଉ ଭଲ ଅଛ ସବୁ?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଉ ଆଜି କ'ଣ ସବୁ କଲ? ଆଜି କ'ଣ କିଛି ତମର ଥିଲା, ଡ୍ୟୁଟି ଥିଲା?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ଯାଇଥିଲି ସ୍କୁଲକୁ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଆଉ ଆଜି ତ ପାଗଟା ବହୁତ ଥଣ୍ଡା, ଆଉ କ'ଣ କରିବ?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଦେହ ପ୍ରତି ଟିକେ ଜାଗ୍ରତ ରହ, ନହେଲେ ଦେହ ଖରାପ ହବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଉ ତମର ପଢାପଢି କେତେ ଦୂର ଗଲା? ଯୋଉ ତମେ ସିନପସିସ୍ ଆଉ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ସବୁ କେତେ ଦୂର କଲଣି? କଲଣି, ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲଣି?
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ କରିନୁ, କରିବୁ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଆଚ୍ଛା। ରଜସ୍ମିତା କରନ୍।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ନମସ୍କାର।
ନମସ୍କାର ନମସ୍କାର। ଆଉ ଭଲ ଅଛ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ଆଉ ହେଲା କ'ଣ ସରସ୍ୱତୀ ସୌମ୍ୟ ପାଢ଼ୀ? ସରସ୍ୱତୀ ସୌମ୍ୟ ପାଢ଼ୀ।
ୟେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ହଁ, ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍ ଇଭିନିଂ। ଆଉ ଭଲ ଅଛ ସବୁ?
ଗୁଡ୍ ଇଭିନିଂ ମ୍ୟାମ୍। ହଁ
ଗୁଡ୍
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଇଭିନିଂ। ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଆଉ କ'ଣ ସବୁ କଲଣି? କେତେ ଦୂର ଗଲାଣି ତମର ପଢାପଢିର ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରେସ୍?
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସିନୋପସିସ୍ ସରି ଭାଇବା ସରିଗଲାଣି, ଡେଜର୍ଟେସନ ର ଭାଇବା ବି ସରିଗଲାଣି, 23 ରେ ଥିଲା।
ଓ, ସବୁ ଶେଷ କରିସାରିଲଣି? ବାପରେ, ଏତେ ଆଗରେ ଆଉ।
ୟେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍, ୟେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍ ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍। ଆଉ
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍, ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ
ପ୍ରିୟଦର୍ଶିନୀ, ପ୍ରିୟଦର୍ଶିନୀ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
କେତେ ଦୂର ଗଲାଣି
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ତମେ?
ପ୍ରଣାମ।
ପ୍ରଣାମ ପ୍ରଣାମ ମାମା। କେତେ ଦୂର ଗଲାଣି ରେ?
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସିନୋପସିସ୍ ପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ଯାଇକି ବୁଝାବୁଝି କରିବାର ଥିଲା, ତ ଥଣ୍ଡା ପାଇଁ ଯାଇ ହଉନି ଟିକେ ତ।
ହଁ ହଁ, ନିଶ୍ଚୟ। ଥଣ୍ଡା ପାଗଟା, କୋହଲା ପାଗ ଅଛି। ଆଉ ତମେ ଏବେ କ'ଣ କୋଉଠି ଚାକିରି କରୁଛ ନା ଖାଲି ଘରେ ପଢାପଢି କରୁଛ?
ନା ନା ମ୍ୟାମ୍, ମୁଁ ଚାକିରି କିଛି କରୁନି।
କୋଉଠି କରୁଛ ଚାକିରି?
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍, ମୁଁ ଚାକିରି କରୁନି।
କରୁନ, ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା। ତାହେଲେ ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ୍ ପାଇବ, ନହେଲେ ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖେ ଟାଇମ୍ ନାହିଁ। ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା। ସରସ୍ୱତୀ ସୌମ୍ୟା ପାଢ଼ୀ। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ, ସରସ୍ୱତୀ ସୌମ୍ୟା ପାଢ଼ୀ, ତମେ କେମିତି ଅଛ?
यस मैम भलो अछि यस मैम
ଭଲ ଅଛ ଆଚ୍ଛା କଣ
यस
ଖାଇଛ
मैम
ଇଭିନିଂ ରେ କଣ ସ୍ନାକ୍ସ ଖାଇଛ?
मैम खाइतलु बरा तरकारी
ହଁ ବଢିଆ ଜିନିଷ ଖାଇଛ ପାଗକୁ ଦେଖିକି ଆଉ କଣ।
पाग को देखि मैम
ହଁ ବଢିଆ ଭଲ ଆଉ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀପ୍ରିୟା ତମେ କଣ କହୁ
ନମସ୍କାର।
ନମସ୍କାର ନମସ୍କାର ମାମା ଆଉ କଣ ତମେ କଣ ଚାକିରି କରୁଛ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଟିଚର ଅଛି।
ବଢିଆ ଆଉ ଯାଇଥିଲ ଆଜି ବର୍ଷା କୋହଲା ପାଗରେ ବି ଯାଇଥିଲ?
ହଁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ପିଲା କମ ଆସିଥିବେ ବୋଧେ ନାଇଁ?
ହଁ ପିଲା କମ ବର୍ଷା କୁ
ହଁ ସେଇଆ କୋଉ ଜାଗାରେ କି ତମର ସ୍କୁଲ ଟା?
ଖଲିକୋଟ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା କଣ ସେପଟେ ବେଶୀ ବର୍ଷା ହଉଛି ନା ନାଇଁ?
ହଁ କାଲି ଜଭରି ବର୍ଷା ହେଇଥିଲା।
କାଲି ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା କାଲି ରାତିରେ ତ ଏପଟେ ବି ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷା ହେଇଛି। ହୁଁ
ହଁ
ଆଉ ଅଜିତ ବାବୁ କଣ ଭଲ ଅଛ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଭଲ ଅଛ ତ?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଉ ଆଜି ସ୍କୁଲ ଆସି କିଛି ଖିଆ ପିଆ କରିଛ?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
କରିଛ ତ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଉ କଣ ସବୁ ଖବର? ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି ପାଠ ପଢା ପଢି ସବୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି ତମମାନଙ୍କୁ?
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି ତ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା।
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଉ ତ ଅଳ୍ପ ଦିନ ରହିଲା ସରିଯିବ ତାପରେ ତମର ସେ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା ସବୁ ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କରିକି ଦବ। ଆଉ
ହଁ
ସିନୋପସିସ
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ତମର ହେଇଯାଇଛି ତେଣୁ ଆଉ
ହଁ
କିଛି
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ। ହଉ ଆମେ ଏଟା ସେ ଡିସକସନ କରୁଥିଲା ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିକାଲ ପରସେପ୍ଟିଭ ସେ ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିକାଲ ପରସେପ୍ଟିଭରେ ଆମେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ସବୁ ଦେଖିଥିଲେ ସେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଆଉ ଥରେ ଟିକେ ଦେଖିବା। So the problem of understanding and defining the proper relationship between the center and the state in India is much older than the country's independence. It is figured prominently in Government of India Act 1935 and was debated even earlier. Some of the features of the present mechanism can be traced to the pre-independence period. The center and state relationship in education presents a varied picture, and the period covering the last two centuries can be divided into two main phases: the pre-independence period and the post-independence period. The center-state relationship during these periods were different in earlier stages of modern pre-independence period, that is the beginning of the 19th century. There was neither proper center nor proper state corresponding to the center. Later, during the British rule, there was neither the national policy on education nor the other, and there is national system of education. Hence, studying the center and state relation during that period did not have any perspective. In the following subsections, efforts undertaken by the colonial rule regarding the financial relationship with the and pro-government India have been given described different ways. First is with the crown and the provisional relation. Because the king period is not the crown period, so the crown and provisional relation when the British government from the provisional relation. So the process of concentration of powers either in the hands of the crown on the representatives of the crown in India under British rule called the centralization. And when the crown representatives of the crown or even native rulers and the central government level did not take interest in education, the term used was decentralization. The pre-independence period can be divided into several phases. During the period beginning the Regulatory Act 1773 to 1833, the East India Company grew up strength and tended to accumulate more and more powers of administration, but the period before 1833 was characterized by total absence of central control as this court of director education in London played a little role in the development of Indian education, and the direction of East India Company were unwillingly to take the responsibility for the education of the natives. The provincial governments were autonomous in making their own educational policy and programs, even though the directors were compelled to accept some responsibility and input some expenditure. Machinery for the central direction was created for the purpose. The General Constitution of the public instructions that existed in the provinces did not have any counterpart at the empirical center in the Calcutta. The Charter Account 1833, which transferred the commercial East India Company in to a government governing corporation, initiated the placement of educational powers into the hands of the crown. The central government was granted full control of the Indians' finances. They led to the centralization of administration in all spheres, including education, in such a way that the director of public instruction needed the sanction of the sanction of the empirical government at Calcutta for every expenditure and education. Centralized continued government at Calcutta for every expenditure that can be done fastly until 1854 with some flexibility until 1870. Wood's dispatch in 1854 paved the way for relaxation of rigid empirical control over the education, and important features of Wood's dispatch was the center of interest of education now shifted from London to Calcutta. This situation was continued despite the complete the takeover of the Indian administration by British Crown under government of the Indian Act 1858. A long phase decentralization powers in education initiated by the Mayo began in 1970. The British authorities had become aware of the extraordinary and internet difficulties in devising a system applicable to the whole of India Act 1861 provided that except in matters of all Indian concern, provincial government should have responsibility to legislate indeed in accordance with the local needs. Certainly, centralizing the power was thus put in reverse gear. There was, however, no clear demarcation of powers between the center and the provinces, while the centralization was confined to executive and legislative powers and coordinating policy at few departments, including education, health, police, prison, and so on, were handed over into the provinces. The center also giving the responsibility for the in case of provincial taxation under central supervision. 1882 sharing of the revenue and using what was called divided heads was attempt it in place of assistance, and the scope of these divided heads was expanded in 1897. The Indian Education Service was created in 1897 to facilitate central recruitment of personnel in England who were more responsible to the imperial government and had no serious adverse effects on power of the provinces. In 1819, Lord Curzon came to India as viceroy, and he established the over centralization policy in education, even though for a brief period of during his tenure, the policies were neither pursued vigorously nor abandoned together after his exit. However, Montague Chelmsford reform was later became the Constitutional Reforms Act 1999 clearly broke the legacy of Curzon, while in earlier devolution of resources were from one level of executive to another. The Act of 1990 brought about the statutory distribution of powers and responsibilities with the center and the state provinces. The provincial government began to exercise dominant authority over the education, as there was established the financial relationship between center and the provincial government. Education had good fortune to receive much later finances than it did in the earlier period. The grants in aid system, which is still existing today, is in the sense a legacy of the period. Central government made generous grants to education, which were unknown to history of Indian education either before or after. The Governance of India Act 1990 introduced hierarchy in the provinces of placing education under Indian minority. With this act, center and state relations began to clarify. Before 1919, the layers of our decision-making education were varied, resulting in unclear center-state relations. The Crown in England represented one level of central authority. The representative, the Viceroy of India, represented level of another when the education was transferred to Indian ministers or Ministry of Delhi, represented yet another level. At the provincial level, Indian officials and the representatives of the viceroy in the provincials represent two additional layers of authority. Hence, the financial relationship in education between center and state started taking definite structure and more meaningful only from 1919 onwards, when the education was handed over to Indian as rules under their. So this is about your historical background. Next class we will discuss more about this. Today we will finish it. And এটা আমার সেকেন্ড ইউনিট বইটা চলୁଛି ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଆମ ପେଜ୍ ନମ୍ବର 49 ରେ ଅଛୁ ତମେ ରେଫର କରିପାରିବ 49କୁ ତାପରେ ତମର ଅଛି ତାକୁ ଦେଖିବା ଆମର ଅଛି କୋଅର୍ଡିନେସନ ଲିଙ୍କେଜ କୋଅପରେସନ ଆଣ୍ଡ ନେଟୱାର୍କିଂ ଅଛି ଆଜି ଆଉ ଏତିକି କରିବା ତମମାନେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ ସବୁ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ शुभस्मिता करो सरस्वती सौम्या पाड़ी
यस मैम
अच्छा शुभस्मिता करो तुम्हारा एबे कौन करथिलो पढ़ा क्लास अटेंड करछ आ कौन सब करिवो एबे पाठ पढ़ा पढ़ी
मैम असाइनमेंट हाँ चलछि तो असाइनमेंट रे चलछि असाइनमेंट लेखा लेखि चल करूछि एपटे ये चलछि क्लास तो चल क्लास भी होछि तो चलछि एपटे सब करूछि
अच्छा अच्छा जाइथिलो तुमर से ये सेंटर को तुमर जो सेंटर
हाँ मैम जाइथिले आगे आगे जाइथिले बट से तो केस स्टे हे छि तो से चलछि से पटे चलछि मु एपटे मोर पीजी पे क्लास अपन जो क्लास चलछि क्लास भी होछि असाइनमेंट गुडा जतर टाइम मिलछि असाइनमेंट कर दोछि ते घरे भी रोस के मां को देह टिके भलो रहउनी तो बेले रोसी बास भी कर दोछि एमति चलछि
ବହୁତ କାମ କରୁଛ ଆଉ କଣ ବହୁତ ବେଶୀ ତ ଏଜ୍ ହେଇନଥିବ ତମକୁ କେତେ ବର୍ଷ?
ନା ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ମତେ ହେଇନି ଯେ ମାଆଙ୍କୁ ଟିକେ ଦେହ ଖରାପ ମାଆଙ୍କର 2022 ରେ ପୁରା ସିଭିୟର ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲା ତ ତାଙ୍କର ଅପରେସନ ହେରିକା ହେଇଯାଇଛି ତ
କଣ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ମତେ
କଣ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ
କଣ ଅପରେସନ ହେଲା?
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ତାଙ୍କର ଟ୍ୟୁମର ଅପରେସନ ହେଇଛି ମାଆଙ୍କର।
ଓହୋ ହଁ ହଁ
ତ ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରତି 3 ମାସକୁ ଥରେ ବି ଚେକଅପ୍ ଚାଲିଛି ଆଜି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ତାଙ୍କର ଚେକଅପ୍ ବି ଚାଲିଛି ତ
ହଁ,
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ବି ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ବେଶ ମାନେ ସେପଟେ ରହିଯାଉଛି।
ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ରହୁଥିବ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଏବେ ଏ ଫେବୃଆରୀ ମାସରେ ବି ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହବ ତାଙ୍କ ମାନେ ଚେକଅପ୍ ହବ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହେରିକା ସବୁ ଚେକଅପ୍ ତାଙ୍କର ଚାଲୁଛି ତ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହେରିକା ହଉଛି ତ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରତି 3 ମାସ ଥରେ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଥରେ ଅଲ୍ଟ୍ରାସାଉଣ୍ଡ ମେ ବି କେତେବେଳେ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ନହେଲେ ଅଲ୍ଟ୍ରାସାଉଣ୍ଡ ନହେଲେ ବି ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ହେଇକି ସବୁ ଚେକଅପ୍ ହଉଛି ତାଙ୍କର ତ ମତେ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ରହୁଛି।
ଫ୍ରିରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବିଜୁ ଜନତା ଯୋଉ ହେଲ୍ଥ କାର୍ଡ ଅନୁସାରେ?
ନାଇଁ 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 ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆମର ହେଲ୍ଥ କାର୍ଡ ନାହିଁ ଆମର ବାବା ଚାକିରି କରୁଥିଲେ ତ ଟିଚର ଥିଲେ ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ହେଲ୍ଥ କାର୍ଡ ନାହିଁ ବଟ୍ ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ଆମର ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ହଉଛି।
ଓ ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ହଉଛି ଆଚ୍ଛା।
ହଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା କାହିଁକି ନା ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ତା ମାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ଅପରେସନ ହେଲା ବି ସେଠି ଓଡିଶାରେ କୋଉଠି ଅପରେସନ ନାହିଁ ଓନ୍ଲି ଏମ୍ସ ହିଁ ଅଛି ତ
ବାପରେ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ହିଁ କରୁଛୁ ଏବେ ବି ଚେକଅପ୍ ବି ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ଚାଲିଛି। ତେଣୁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ବି କଣ କି ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଟାଇମ ଦରକାର ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ ମାନେ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟେଷ୍ଟ ପାଇଁ ବି ଗଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ଦରକାର ଟାଇମ କାହିଁକିନା
ହଁ
ଆପଣ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଯାଇକି ଅନଲାଇନ କରିବେ ତାପରେ ଲାଇନ ଲଗେଇକି ଟିକେଟ କାଟିକି ପଇସା ଇଏ କରିବେ ତାପରେ ପୁଣି ଯାଇକି ଲାଇନ ଲଗେଇକି ବ୍ଲଡ ଦେଇକି ଆସିବେ ତ
ବହୁତ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ ଦରକାର ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ ଟେକିଂ ଜିନିଷ
ହଁ ହଁ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ
ତ ପୁଣି ହଁ ତାପରେ ପୁଣି ଲାଇନ ଲଗେଇକି ଆପଣ ଟିକେଟ କରିବେ ପୁଣି ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖେଇବା ପାଇଁ ଡକ୍ଟରଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖେଇବା ପାଇଁ ବି ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ଦରକାର। କାହିଁକିନା
ହଁ
ଏମ୍ସ ରେ ବହୁତ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ପେସେଣ୍ଟ ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ରହୁଛି ମତେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ।
ସେଇଟା
ଆଗରୁ
ଭଲ
ଭାଇ ବି ସପୋର୍ଟ ଆଜ୍ଞା 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 ବହୁତ ମାନେ ଡକ୍ଟର ମାନେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ବହୁତ ସପୋର୍ଟିଭ ଡକ୍ଟର ମାନେ ତାର ଭାଇ ବି ଟିକେ ସପୋର୍ଟ କରିଦଉଥିଲା ବଟ ଭାଇର ଅଫିସ କାମ ଏବେ ବହୁତ ରହୁଛି ତେଣୁ ତାକୁ ବି ଟାଇମ ହଉନି। ତ
ସେ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଟିକେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହଉଛି।
ଭାଇ କଣ କରନ୍ତି?
ଭାଇ ସଫ୍ଟୱେର ଲାଇନରେ ଅଛି ବି ଫାର୍ମ କରି ତାର ସଫ୍ଟୱେର ଲାଇନରେ ଅଛି। ବଟ ୱାର୍କ ଫ୍ରମ ଚାଲିଛି ୱାର୍କ ଫ୍ରମ ଘରେ କରୁଛି କାମ ହଁ ବଟ ତାକୁ ଏବେ ଟୋଟାଲ କାମ ସେ ସକାଳ 9ରୁ ବସିଲେ ରାତି 12ଟା ବାଜି ଯାଉଛି ମ୍ୟାମ ତାର ଏତେ ପ୍ରେସର ହଉଛି ତାକୁ ହଁ ତେଣୁ ମତେ ଟିକେ ତାପରେ ବାବାଙ୍କର ବି ସେଇ ଟାଇମ ରେ ବାବା ପଡିଗଲେ ବାବାଙ୍କର ବି ଗୋଡ ଭାଙ୍ଗିଗଲା। ସେଇ ଟାଇମ ରେ ଏକାଳ 2 ଜଣ ଯାକ ତ
ହଁ
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମକୁ ପୁରା ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଇଗଲା ସେଇ ଟାଇମ ରେ
ହଁ ସବୁ କୋଅର୍ଡିନେଟ ଏକା ସାଙ୍ଗେ ହେଇଗଲା ଆଉ
ଏକା ବେଳେ ମ୍ୟାମ ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର 5 ଦିନ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଲୁ ଯେ ମାଙ୍କର କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଅଛି ବୋଲି ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର 6 ତାରିଖ ଦିନ ବାବା ସେଇ ଟେନସନରେ ପଡିଗଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ଗୋଡ ଭାଙ୍ଗିଗଲା।
ସେମିତି
ତ
ହୁଏ
ଏପଟେ ଏମ୍ସ ସେପଟେ 6 ନମ୍ବର ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ପୁରା ସେଇ ଟାଇମରେ ବହୁତ ପ୍ୟାନିକ ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲୁ। ଖାଲି ଭାଇର କେହି ବି ସପୋର୍ଟ କରିବାକୁ ନାହାନ୍ତି ସପୋର୍ଟ କରିବାକୁ ଜଣେ ଥିଲେ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନଥିଲା। ସପୋର୍ଟ ବି କେହି ନାହାନ୍ତି ଆମେ ଭାଇ ଭଉଣୀ ଭାଇ ମୁଁ ଯିବି ସକାଳେ ରହିବି ଭାଇ ରାତିରେ ରହିବ ଏମିତି ହେଇକି ଅବଶ୍ୟ ଚାଲିଗଲା ସେମିତି କିଛି ବେଶୀ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଲାନି ତ ସେମିତି କି ତାର କିନ୍ତୁ ମାଙ୍କ
ମ୍ୟାନେଜ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମାଙ୍କର ଟିକେ ବେଶୀ ରହୁଛି ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଟିକେ ବେଶୀ ରହୁଛୁ ଟେନସନ କାହିଁକିନା ମୋର ବି କାଲି ଯଦି ଭଗବାନ ଦୟାରୁ ଜବ ଫବ ହେଇଗଲା ବି ତା ପାଖରେ କେହି ରହିବାକୁ ନାହିଁ ତାର ପୁଣି 3 ମାସକୁ ଥରେ ନିହାତି ଦରକାର ଚେକଅପ ଟା ଆଉ ସେଟା ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଟିକେ ଓରିଡ ରହୁଛୁ।
ଆଉ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରାଣୀ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରାଣୀ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରାଣୀ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ହଁ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରାଣୀ ହଁ ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ସମୟ ହେଇଗଲା ତ ତମେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରାଣୀ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରେ କୁଆଡେ ବୁଡିଗଲ ବୋଲି କଣ କରୁଛ? ଏବେ ତମର କଣ କାମ ପଢାପଢି ନା ଆଉ କଣ କୋଉଥିରେ ଅଛ ଏନଗେଜ?
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଏଇଟା କେବଳ କରୁଛି ଆଉ କିଛି କରୁନି ଏବେ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ହଁ ଆଉ ରଶ୍ମିତା କର କଣ କରୁଛ?
ହଁ
ରଶ୍ମିତା
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ କ୍ଲାସ କରୁଥିଲି।
ନା ଆଉ କଣ ପାଠ ପଢାପଢି କରୁଛ ନା କଣ ଚାକିରି କରୁଛ ନା କଣ?
ନାଇଁ ଆଉ କିଛି କରୁନି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଉ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀପ୍ରିୟା ତମେ କଣ କରୁଛ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀପ୍ରିୟା ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀପ୍ରିୟା ମହାରଣା ତମର କଣ ସବୁ କାମ? ଅଜିତ ବାବୁ ତ ଆମର ଅଛନ୍ତି କୋଉଠି ଗୋଟେ ଏନଗେଜ ହେଇକି ଅଛନ୍ତି।
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ଆଉ
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ହଁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କୋଉଠି
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ତମେ
ନମସ୍କାର।
ଏବେ ସାର୍ଭିସ କରୁଛ? ନମସ୍କାର
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ନମସ୍କାର
ଟିଚର ଅଛି ଖଲିକୋଟରେ।
ବାବା ବଢିଆ ଆଉ ସମସ୍ତେ ପୁରା ଏମ୍ପ୍ଲଏଡ୍ ଆଉ ତମାନେ ଆଉ ତେଣୁ ତମ ଟାଇମ୍ ତ ଠିକ୍ କଟି ଯାଉଥିବ ଆଉ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ତା ଭିତରେ ପାଠ ପଢାପଢି ଗୁଡାକୁ ଟିକେ ମନ ଦେଇ କରୁଥିବ ଆଉ କଣ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କରିଦେଲେ ବେଟର ହବ।
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିଦେବୁ ଆଉ।
ହଁ ଅଜିତ ବାବୁ ତମର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ତ ସବୁ ସରିଗଲାଣି ବୋଧେ?
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ସବମିଟ କରିନି।
ହଁ କରିଦେଇଛ ଲେଖା ଲେଖି କରିଦେଇଛ ନାଇଁ?
ହଁ ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ହଁ ଆଉ ରୋଜସ୍ମିତା ତମର କଣ କାମ ତମର ହେଇଗଲାଣି?
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ମୁଁ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଲେଖିବୁ ଲେଖିନି ଆଉ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ତମେ କଣ କୋଉଠି ସର୍ଭିସ କରୁଛ କି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଖଲିକୋଟରେ।
ହଁ ବାବା ଆଉ ସବୁ ତ ପୁରା ଫୁଲ ଏନଗେଜ ଆଉ ଶୁଭସ୍ମିତା ତୁମେ ତ?
ନା ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଏନଗେଜ ନୁହଁ ଘରେ।
ଘରେ ଅଟାରେ ଟାଇମ ଦେଇପାରୁଛ ଆଉ ନାଇଁ? ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ହଉ ତାହେଲେ ଆଜି ଆଉ ଏତିକି କ୍ଲାସ ଏଣ୍ଡ କରିବା। ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆମର ଅଛି 1 ତାରିଖରେ ଆମେ ଦେଖାହବ। ଆଉ ଯୋଉ କ୍ଲାସ ଟା 3 ତାରିଖ ହେଇନଥିଲା ସେମାନେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି 6 ତାରିଖକୁ ଦେବେ। ସରିଗଲା ପରେ ସେ 6 ତାରିଖ ନହେଲେ କରିବା ବୁଝିଲ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ବାଏ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଗୁଡ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ନାଇଟ ଗୁଡ ନାଇଟ।
ଗୁଡ୍ ନାଇଟ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଗୁଡ୍ ନାଇଟ୍।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ଗୁଡ ନାଇଟ। Bye.